Sit down, Stuart.
Mr Chair, to be honest, I will never be able to give a speech like that because I don't know what it's like to have 9 children, but I celebrate you.
But the challenge to the member is to be relevant to the
Mr
clause.
Chair, what I would like to talk about is Clause 5, Section 3, Subpart C. Now, there are some words in here, Mr Chair, that we have to be aware of. Well, there are a couple of questions I would like to ask the member and the Chair, and the first one is why is this staggered the way it is? Why is it staggered at 18 weeks? Why is it staggered at 22 weeks? And why is it staggered at 26 weeks? But Mr Chair, the one word here that I think we've got to be aware of is it says the maximum of 18 weeks. It says a maximum of 22 weeks, and it says a maximum 26 weeks. Now the thing about this is that doesn't mean that everyone who gives birth to a child is going to take that maximum. In fact, Mr Chair, there were around about 60,000 babies born every year, give or take 1 or 2, and there are about 26,000 parents. So at this point, only around about 43% of parents take paid parental leave anyway. And so when we look at the financials of this, and when the government says at 26 weeks, it doesn't mean, Mr Chair, that every single mother is going to take 26 weeks leave. But I suspect, Mr Chair, the reason why, obviously when this bill goes through, the dates are going to have to be adjusted because, well, I assume, member and the Chair, if you're going to adjust them because, or if we're going to go straight to 26 weeks in 2014, I'm not too sure, and maybe you can help me with that one. I know, it'd be hard to do in April 20th because it would be retrospective, but the cost of this is not as large as it actually looks. If you, from Clause 5(3)(c), Mr Chair, because the staggered amount, it only adds, at 18 weeks, it only adds $6 million. And that's assuming that nearly every single mother takes, well, I suppose this is paid parental leave, so it could be paternity leave as well as maternity leave, Mr Chair. The other thing is 22 weeks, it only adds an extra $40 million, Mr Chair. And again, you're not going to get, not you, society will find, not at this stage, well, you never know. Well, yeah, I've lost my train of thought. The thing is that often, Mr Chair, and I found this, my wife found this ourselves. We've got 2 very young children, but you only get about, a mother or a father only gets about 80% of their salary anyway. So often what happens is mothers or fathers have to return to work earlier than this out of economic necessity anyway. So I think when we look at this and say the cost is going to be an extra $63.9 million because every mother is now going to take 26 weeks leave, we're not dealing with the reality of the situation which we find ourselves in 21st century New Zealand. And the reason for that, I suspect, Mr Chair, the reason why a lot of mothers don't take 26 leaves and the reason why it's a maximum, we're not going to impose 26 leaves, is because some mothers have to return to work out of economic necessity. So what this is actually doing, Mr Chair, is it's giving mothers and fathers, but giving parents choice. So if a parent wants to stay at home for 26 weeks, they have the choice to be able to do that. But it doesn't mean they have to. And it doesn't mean that every single parent, it's going to cost the society that much. So that's actually quite an important word. If we look at the other part 1 and part 2, it's pretty difficult to know what they are because they're just sort of stuck in there. But that's all I really want to say. But I do have a couple of questions for the member and Chair. Why has it been staggered out this way? And is there an amendment to actually change the dates because it's been so long? Thank you very much.
Mr Chair.
Christopher.